All these foods in front of me have something in common. Worked it out yet? Well, they don't taste great on their own, but no, that is not why I have this unique selection here. I want to find out whether these natural, on-trend foods really do boost athletic performance, or is it all just a fad? To show your appreciation for me drinking pickle juice, reckon you could do something in return? Well, by liking this video and subscribing to this channel, you support GTN and you allow us to continue to make some new and interesting content. Okay, back to these interesting products. They are all natural foods that can be found in your local supermarket, yet have also been specifically used by world-class athletes to enhance their performance. And out of intrigue, I thought I would do a deeper dive into whether any of these can actually help us as triathletes, and if so, how do they work? Well, let's start with the one that I am most curious about, pickle juice. Now, it does seem a bit more of a thing amongst our American viewers, and I must admit, I hadn't even heard of pickle juice, let alone the fact that it could potentially enhance athletic performance, until a couple of years ago when I was watching some clips from a gravel endurance race and noticed that some athletes were sipping on this rather odd-looking concoction. Now, I personally used to take my gherkins out of a burger, so the thought of then sipping on the liquid that they sit within when you're pushing your body to its maximum was slightly mind-boggling. My taste buds have changed. I do now enjoy gherkins, but this video is not about me and the snacks that I enjoy. I want to know why athletes are using this and just what effect it has. Well, according to the packet, it is vinegar, salt, sugar, spices, sometimes including turmeric. And note, having a top tube bag full of gherkins probably won't have the same effect. So apparently athletes use it as it is believed that pickle juice can eliminate cramp quicker than electrolytes. Is this true? Yes, there is some evidence in this, but it might not be what you think. The salt or sodium content is going to have an effect, but that's not going to be any faster acting than if you took usual electrolytes. Instead, it is something within the pickle juice known as acetic acid that actually has an effect on the neurotransmitters. So found within your mouth, there is something called transient receptor potential, known as TRP for short. Now, the TRP channels connect the mouth into the central nervous system, and the hypothesis is that stimulating these receptors somehow causes a jolt reaction down the nerves that disrupts the signals that are causing a cramp. And this would explain why some cramps have seemed to be instantaneously relieved from someone drinking pickle juice. And obviously it was due to the sodium content within that would have to be digested and then make its way into the blood. And this also aligns with the fact that the root cause for some cramps is thought to be partly from the nervous system and not all solely due to an electrolyte imbalance. Okay, onto something more palatable. Cherries. I'm gonna have pepsin. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. Okay, admittedly, yes, I have pepsin, but admittedly, I would probably have to eat a whole punnet's worth to get the athletic gains that I require, and as a result, that would probably lead to an upset stomach. So you're not really going to get the benefit. However, you can get the extract of cherry, funnily enough, called cherry extract. Tart cherry concentrate or extract has been shown to improve muscle function and reduce muscle damage, oxidative stress and inflammation, and muscle soreness in athletes. However, evidence for acute endurance performance benefits is scarce. This meta-analysis found that it did have a significant benefit for endurance exercise performance. This was a mixture of effects due to its low GI, anti-inflammatory and antioxidative capacity, as well as blood flow enhancing effects. There are still many unknowns, but in this study, they showed positive results after 7 days of taking it 1.5 hours before exercise. And if you're not convinced, well, I would suggest that you just stick to eating and enjoying this delicious fruit. You never know, you might still get some of the benefits. It is time to spice things up a little bit, quite literally bring on the chili. And no, I'm not going to sit here nibbling on this fiery little thing, as actually it is the capsaicin, which is within the chili, that has the performance-enhancing effect. And it might not be why you think. It isn't because it makes you want to get to that finish line even quicker so you can rush to the bathroom, although I must admit, that's a side effect that I was slightly concerned about when I heard that athletes are using this as a supplement. So if it's not speeding up the gut movement, what is it doing? Remember those TRPs we mentioned earlier? Well, this time it's the transient receptor potential vanilloid 1 channel that is being woken in the mouth. This triggers an increase in ATP production, vascular function, fatigue resistance, and thus exercise performance. A study on mice found that capsaicin supplement found that it could improve grip strength and endurance performance by increasing liver glycogen content. It also had positive effects on fatigue-related parameters such as lactate, ammonia, and glucose. So it reduced physical fatigue and improved exercise performance. Another study suggests that it's the way the capsaicin changes your perceptions of fatigue, again, by working on those receptors. And in fact, apparently, the more you take, the more that it actually dampens those pain receptors. So I guess that does make sense, but it's up to you how far you want to push that one. And this is one that I would most certainly recommend you experiment with in training, and do not leave to trying for the first time on race day. This one I feel has been around for a little bit longer, or at least on my radar. I don't mean just purely as a vegetable, but I am talking about beetroot, beets, or in the sports supplement setting, beetroot juice. And it is most known in this setting for its high nitrate content, as well as being high in antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties. I think it's generally known that eating beetroot is good for you. I mean, it's got a bright colour, so it's got to be healthy, right? Well, for those of you who are more interested in health than performance, it has apparently been proven to reduce blood pressure and aid blood flow, according to the American Heart Association. Well, back to performance then, and it's these nitrate levels that actually help to dilate the blood vessels, which allow more oxygen to make its way to the cells. In fact, a study in the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics found that runners who ate beets an hour before a 3-mile race finished the last mile 5% faster than the beetless runners. Other studies have found an increase in endurance up to 16%. And if taking for performance, then that will be as a supplement or a juice. It's suggested that you consume it about an hour before performance. I must admit that from reading, I can't find that much on dosage, so it's probably a good idea to get it in supplement form, and then at least you've got some recommendation of where to start. A less obvious kitchen cupboard ingredient that can be overlooked for its athletic benefits is this beautiful golden spice, turmeric. In particular, it's the compound curcumin within it that packs the punch. Its most celebrated property has to be the anti-inflammatory effects that allow it to help control inflammation by regulating transcription factors, cytokines, protein kinases, enzymes, and many other sub-processes and compounds that are involved in inflammation. It has, in fact, been found to reduce the muscle damage and decrease the delayed onset muscle soreness effect. There was a study in 2017 that took a sample of 59 moderately trained men and women and divided them into groups, giving them, some of them 50 milligrams of curcumin, some 200 milligrams of curcumin, and then a placebo group for a total of 8 weeks. And they found that the group that were given the 200 milligrams noted significant less muscle soreness after intense exercise. And really interestingly, a decrease in creatine kinase, which is a muscle damage marker. Another study, this time on mice, found that there was an increase in endurance during exercise, as well as a decrease in lactate and ammonia levels and an increase in muscle glycogen, which is very interesting, but that's yet to be determined how exactly that does translate to humans. I have genuinely enjoyed researching these natural supplements, and it seems that maybe I'm just a bit late to the party, as some of them have been used for centuries, and I think it's fair to say that they are facts, not fads. Talking of which, I have actually included in the description below a link to lots of the studies that we've referenced in this. Now, I'm just fascinated to know if you guys use any of these just as general foods, just because you want to be healthy, or if you do actually take any of these supplements to try and get any performance benefits. Well, let me know in the comments section below.